Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Holt Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Brennan Holt, and today we're going to go through some stuff. Going to talk about the CCS hunt and some other good topics that I don't think you guys are going to want to miss. So we're going to get right into it. The first CCS hunt, it was Josh versus me. He was hunting devil, I was hunting shy, and I was lucky enough to come away with a win there. So I'm starting off 1-0 in the pool, and Josh is 0-1. But he'll still have a chance to get a win and possibly, advance into the playoffs. And we'll have other matches from the other side. So a lot of exciting stuff there. If you guys haven't seen that video, if you're listening to this or watching this and you haven't seen that first CCS video, it's available to everyone. And, if you haven't seen it, just come right here, look right here where my finger is, and you'll see that link to go watch that video. You need to do it. It was definitely a good one. And, I thought it went well. I thought the rules that we kind of came up with worked well, and we didn't have any issues in the cast. The dog's, Devil, he's a young dog, really young still. He's treed a ton of coons, but he just, he got caught there at the beginning, just kind of took a bad break, and I took a good break right off the bat because mine got in there quite a ways and treed a coon and scored on it. So he didn't look great after that, but, he made 2 more trees. I think I only treed him on one of those trees, and we couldn't find coons in them. But, he looked all right, good enough to get the win. So that was pretty exciting, and just gonna try to build on that, and we've got a lot of work still to do there. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen that, definitely go check it out. And going forward, they're going to be released every 2 weeks from the previous date. So whenever that last CCS hunt was, we're going to have another one coming out 2 weeks after it until this thing is all done. And with that said, if you guys want to go and be a member, there's going to be tons of good stuff to see and be a part of being a member. And it definitely helps us out, helps us keep bringing you guys the content that you want to see, and we got a lot of good things in the works. So we appreciate all the support, all the love that you guys are sending, and so go check that out. And I guess I want to talk about some listener comments that I got, and Shy's progress. You guys have been following along with me and him. We're going to talk about his progress, and also big news. I got another dog. So he's a male dog. He goes back to shack, bone collector, sweat it, I believe, or cold sweat. I can't remember which one, but I heard about him, and I heard some good things about him, and I went and bought him. To be honest with you all, that's what we're about here, is just, being honest and showing the real side of things. I was fed up with Shy like a couple weeks ago. He was not making progress. So let me back up. Shy, he starts off early summer, probably, March, April, May. He's doing good. I bought him in March, and he's looking okay. He's treated some coons, and then as we get into like June, he starts going downhill, and I don't know why, but we get into, I think it was probably August. I got him tested. He had his blood work done. Got him tested for the tick-borne diseases, and he comes back positive for Ehrlichia. So everyone that I talk to, everyone's telling me, that can definitely affect their performance. It can affect their nose. And I try not to make excuses for my dog. And I got to where he was making a lot of slick trees and just acting not like he was when I first got him, just acting silly. And so I tried not whipping him, but switching him off of trees and sending him on, and it wasn't seeming to work. But anyways, so, he gets tested for Ehrlichia, and he's got it, and starts on the Doxy for, I think it was like 3 weeks. So he finishes the Doxy, and I didn't hunt him, but maybe one time in that whole 3 weeks. And he finishes the Doxy. I go back to hunting him again, and really not much better. But now that we're about a little over a month out from finishing the Doxy treatment, all of a sudden, things are cooling off. It's getting into October now. Acorns are falling. There's, less, to me, he acts like he's got less allergy issues. But now that we're getting into that, it's like a couple weeks ago, he starts treeing coons again. He quit making those really stupid, like awful, small, bad trees, He's just started looking better. And I can't help but think, and people have told me, it's because the Doxy messes up their nose after they've been on it, So people have told me it'll take 2-3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks after you finish the Doxy for them to kind of start acting normal again with their nose. And I've seen that. So he's looking better. And we'll get into that a little bit, but here in just a minute. But all that to say, to bring it back to the new dog, being honest, I got the new dog because I was fed up with Shy, and I needed a break from him, and he was going to be on Doxy anyways, and it was just, I wasn't looking for a new dog, but I just happened to see this one listed, and I called on it, and just sounded like something that kind of fit me and what I was looking for. The new dog, I call him Mox, so I'm going to call him Moxon, or Moxy is going to be his papered name, but kind of named him after, I don't know if any of you watching this has ever watched Varsity Blues, but they had a quarterback on there, Jonathan Moxon. But I like Mox, and yeah, so I decided to name him Mox. But when I called on him, he was a dog that had won a cast already, 2-year-old dog, kind of a similar story to Shy, honestly. He hadn't been hunted a ton, but had been hunted enough to kind of know what his job was a little bit, but probably needed some work. And, that's what I'm interested in. Right now, I don't want a puppy. I want something that's kind of, doing its thing a little bit already, but still needs some work, needs some hunting. And that's kind of what this dog was. So I knew the guy that owned him. I actually knew the two of the guys that previously owned him, and so I felt pretty confident that the story that I was getting about him was going to be accurate. So he's a different type of dog than Shy. The thing I liked most about the two guys that I talked to about him was they both told me that he's got a head full of sense. Just, a smart dog, kind of calm, cool, just a head full of sense to where he's, not barking all the time in the kennel. He's not stepping in his own crap. Just a dog that you feel like you can work with a little bit and that there's something there. And Shy is not quite like that. He's a little bit more wired up, kind of crazy acting a little bit. And I don't mind that as long as, he's treating Coons and doing what he's supposed to do. But yeah, so the new dog, you guys haven't seen him yet, but here pretty soon we're going to do another Coonhound Chronicles, or it actually might be happening. You might have already seen it at the time of this getting released, but yeah, he's I've hunted him several times now, and he's treated me several coons. He's made a few mistakes, but kind of going through that learning each other phase right now to where I'm not going to do anything too crazy. I would recommend that for people if you're getting a new dog, unless you know a lot about the dog already. Just kind of feel each other out a little bit, let them get used to you. That's what I've been doing, and he's treated several coons, and he's definitely there's definitely something there to work with. So I'm excited about him. Really like his attitude, his demeanor, and I'm hoping that we can make something out of him. But so to go back to Shy, I have a question here. I'm gonna look at my phone. This is a comment. This is a comment from Logan Hale -E4X. So, Logan, appreciate the comment. If you're watching this, appreciate you watching and listening to the podcast and supporting us. Appreciate the comment, and appreciate everyone else for commenting as well. But Logan, here's your question. Logan says, I got a 3.5-year-old, goes back to TrackMan. He was an absolute accurate machine at about 1.5 to 2.5 years old. Looked awesome. He started missing like crazy, got him tested. He has Lyme disease. And I've not seen any improvements since the Doxy. I don't know what to do with him. People say sell him, but I saw what he was versus what he is now. Any advice? So again, Logan, thanks for the comment. I'm going to answer the best I can on that, and I just want to start with whoever you are. If that question applies to you, use your gut. Use your gut instincts. Nobody's going to know the dog like you do, and nobody's going to be able to give you the perfect advice. So use your gut and go with that, and you just got to live with whatever you decide. But to speak on that, Shy, he didn't have Lyme's. He had Ehrlichia. I know I've heard from people that Lyme's is definitely worse. So, one thing, try what your vet says. I've heard really good things about the Elite Nutrition, Lyme's and Ehrlichia treatment. No, we are not sponsored by Elite Nutrition. I actually bought some that I planned on giving to Shy, and I'm probably still going to give it to him. But no, we're not sponsored by them. That's just what I've heard, and I cannot speak on my experience with it myself because I haven't tried it yet. But look into that. Do your own research on it. Talk to people, see what they think about that product. But I will say, he gets tested for it and he's positive. They're going to put you on Doxy for 21 days to a month. And speaking from experience, I can say for sure that I saw a change in my dog after 3 weeks to a month after being off the Doxy. It was just like kind of a switch flipped, and it was like he could smell again. He wasn't quite so quick to get treed, and his trees that he was making were better trees. I mean, he just acted different. So my advice, Logan, is just give it time. Give him a little bit of time. See if he starts acting better. And, maybe try some of that elite nutrition. I would, in my opinion, if you can, I would try to put him on an easy coon. See if you can get a coon across the road, and see if he'll tree that one. Take it back to the basics. And if you don't see any progress, I would give it a little more time and then try again. And if you still don't see progress, then you just have to decide for yourself what what the best move is for you and him. But definitely, and I don't know how long I don't know how early in the process, he was diagnosed with the Lymes. But at least for my case, I think they caught Ehrlichia fairly early. And so the Doxy probably did a good job, but then that Doxy kind of messes up their nose from what I'm hearing. So to me, I would just give him some time. And, at the end of the day, just trust your gut and just make a decision and go with it. So thanks, Logan, for that comment. Appreciate that. And, anybody that's watching or listening, leave us some comments. I love to hear from you guys. I love to, kind of think about some of these questions and give my take on it. But to get a little more into Shy's performance here lately, he started to tree some coons, and I think I took him to a pretty good spot one night. It's got a bunch of oaks in it, and it's kind of pasture fields with just these oaks scattered around. It kind of reminds me of like a pecan grove in a way, but just open grass and creek bottom with oak trees scattered around everywhere. And he treed one and ended on a good note that night. Took him the next night, and then he treed two. And then the next night, I think he treed two again, and we've been building on it, and he's still, in this time in the last couple of weeks, he's still made some questionable trees. Some of them were dens, some were, probably slick trees, but definitely making progress. And one point I'll bring up is, sometimes I think with certain dogs, it can put a little pressure on them if they have to stay in the box and listen to another dog run a track and get treed. And, if your season is in, if you knock that coon out to the other dog, it can maybe spark something in a dog that, hey, I'm not the only one that, I'm not going to get hunted no matter how I do type of thing. So I've heard from guys that can help for sure. So consider that as something that you could use, in your arsenal too, to get the best performance out of your dogs. But the other thing too is, like, Shy is 2.5, but he still kind of acts like a puppy. He's just a little bit wild and crazy, and he doesn't have the best manners on the lead, and he just acts like he's still got some maturing to do. So consider that too when you guys are looking at your dogs and you're judging, your dog's performance. Do they kind of act like they still have some maturing to do, like they need to grow up? I mean, because it's definitely something that I think is a factor in his performance, is that he's just not had enough experience hunting, and he's still just kind of wild and can't focus in on what he needs to be doing. So, but that, that's kind of his update. And so if anyone out there is listening that is dealing with Ehrlichia or dealing with, a dog that's not performing good, we have been so dry here for the last 2 months basically, and we finally started getting some rain here in the last couple of weeks. I think that's helped. But it just goes back to expectations again, and I have too high of expectations most of the time. I mean, to be honest with you, I won my first cast the other night in the CCS Series, and I was happy to win it, but it was just kind of, I don't know, I was like still upset a little bit because he didn't perform perfect. Like, I want him to have a coon in every tree that he makes, and that's asking a lot. That's probably asking way too much, especially considering where he's at in his journey to becoming a coon dog. So just, manage your expectations, set realistic goals, and work at it, hunt. I mean, you can't get any better if you're not out in the woods. So, yeah, that's kind of what's going on with him. In that cast, we turned them both loose, headed right into this section of woods. We were gonna hunt acorns basically, and what did they do? Devil and Shy, we caught them underneath this fence. They turn right-handed and run out into a wide open pasture. So Devil gets struck first for 50, and they kind of split up there for a second. Shy gets across the road, and he's going in there deeper. Well, Devil starts treeing, and he ends up being in a hole in the ground. Well, as we're walking towards him, Shy is coming back towards him, and I'm thinking, oh, here we go. He's going to come in and, cover, and that's not what I want him to do. But he comes about, 50, maybe 100 yards from Devil, and Shy's across the road from him, and then Shy strikes, and then he starts working away from Devil. So, and it takes him a good, 10, 15 minutes before he gets treed, and we score Devil. And obviously, if you guys seen the video, Devil has got a possum in the hole, but we get him scored, and we get him walked down the road and recut Devil. And not long after he's recut, I can hear Shy in there, and he's treed, and he's about 700 yards. So I get him treed, and we start to head to him. And there's always that nervous feeling, you're like walking in there hoping that he's got one. If he's got one, I'm sitting really good because Devil just took some minus, and I'm going to be plussed on the first tree. And so, yeah, it's a nerve-wracking feeling. And you get there, we got to the tree, I get him tied back, and everybody's shining in the shine time, and nobody's saying, yep, I got him. And so you're nervous about it, because you just want your dog to look good and do what he's supposed to do. But thankfully, Andrea, she was shining it with a thermal, and she could see some heat, and so we started looking, and sure enough, there he was. So we got scored on that one, and had to recut him. Had to walk him a minute and recut him, and you know, hoping he's not going to go back to that tree. And he ended up getting treed another time. Devil never made, Devil did make a tree at the very end of the cast, but he ended up leaving that. And Shy, he made one more tree, and it was kind of not a good track. He just kind of fell treed, and you know, so that's something that we're going to have to work on. We're going to have to work on him treeing a coon and not getting it knocked out to him, and being able to go from there and tree another coon without trying to do it just right around there, you know. That's something we're going to have to work on this winter, is getting him to tree coons off of coons and just getting him to, you know, be more accurate and have his coons more often. He's definitely gotten better, because a month ago I didn't think there was any hope for him. So, but yeah, that's kind of how we won that cast. He got treed again right at the end of the hunt, but there was only 4 minutes left, and you couldn't run the stationary on him, and I didn't need to tree him, so I just let the hunt run out, and yeah, so not a bad showing from him, but we definitely can go up. So that's what's happening right now. Glad to get that question from Logan, and I hope, you know, somebody out there can learn a little something from what I talked about, and having patience and managing your expectations and just trusting your gut on what you know about your dog. But yeah, looking forward to you guys getting to see Mox, the new dog. I'm afraid that one of these days in the near future I'm going to have a dilemma on my hands, because I think both him and Shy are going to turn out to be nice dogs, and I'm going to have to decide which one I'm going to take to a hunt or something like that. But yeah, it's getting cooler out. It's getting a lot more enjoyable to be in the woods, and really looking forward to this winter, bringing you guys more competition hunts from the CCS series. And yeah, appreciate all the comments, all the support, and make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Listen to us anywhere you get your podcasts, and yeah, go and become a member of the Holt Outdoors YouTube channel. That way you can see the CCS hunts. You can see all the other little things that go in with that, the live streams. I'm looking forward to that too. I think every week or two we're going to try to do a live stream for the members only, so you guys can ask me questions. We can just kind of chat back and forth as you comment, and there's a lot of good stuff there to have if you want to be a member. So yeah, that's the progress with Shy, and yeah, excited about the prospects for him and the new dog, and yeah, encourage you guys to go to the channel and become members. There's a lot of good stuff there to see, and look forward to everything that we got coming this winter with the CCS and the cooler temperatures and hunting dogs. Yeah, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. You can get our podcast anywhere where you find your podcasts, and appreciate all the love and support. We'll see you next time.